Today we are here with two of our interns, our collegiate interns, Martin Manchego and Israel Makambu. And we are having a discussion about how to reach our friends and those within our circle of influence for Christ. And we're trying to avoid the ditches of, hey, I want to build so much of a relationship that I'm not going to mention the name of Jesus for several months. We know that's unhealthy, but that we're also trying to, to actually build a relationship and share the good news of Jesus Christ with others. So I want to just start a discussion because we need to learn here. We need to get better at this. What venues can we use to reach others for Christ? And then how do we channel conversations towards what a friend of mine calls gospel-centered conversations? Meaning if the gospel is God, man, Christ response, how can my conversations include one aspect of that when I'm with the lost? Any thoughts on that? What are y'all learning as you're on campus?
Well, I would say, first of all, I study in seminaries, so most of them are Christians already. But we can still reach some people, not in the seminary, but close to the places where we are doing some activities there. And it's good to find people that you know that you won't see them again. So you have the urgency to share with them the gospel in that moment. You are not sure you will see them again. But there are some other cases like neighbors or people who live close there that you can start to one conversation at a time. If you are that first day talking about the activities they like, it's good to build a relationship. But always I will suggest trying to look for the spiritual conversation, asking about what do you think about death, or what is the legacy you are giving to your kids in the way you raise them, or I just want to share with you what Jesus made in my life, or different things that you can share with them to use what Peter says, that we are safe to now share the virtues of our God who saved us, who bring us from the darkness to the light.
You're talking about being really deliberate. Deliberate without, unduly focused on trying to get an answer or decision, but yet really caring for someone's soul. If biblical love is doing what is best for another, regardless of what it costs you, then your friendship is not going to be what you can get out of a person, but how you can love them as Christ has loved you. So it's going to that soccer match, whatever,
and being intentional in looking for sharing the gospel.
That's 1 Peter 3:15, isn't it? Sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to everyone who asks you to give an account for the hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence. What do you think, Israel?
Yeah, I think you guys are definitely hitting it right. Like Martin said, that urgency needs to be there. And I think ultimately, and this is something that I really learned well from you, the question that we're trying to get a non-Christian or someone that we're approaching with the gospel to answer in the end is, what do you think of Christ? And so how do we present that Christ to them? That's up to us. How do we show them Christ so that they have to answer that question of, what do I think of the Christ that's being presented? And like Martin was talking about it, we have two things that I think are very important, and you mentioned it. The first thing I'll say is invitation. You gotta be invitational, and that doesn't mean you have to necessarily have lunch with them every day, every week or something, but how are we inviting them to our lives? Being up at UNT, you have people in your classes that you see every 2 days. You ask them questions about notes. You ask them questions about how they study. Just inviting them in our lives slowly but well. And I think in Matthew, it's shine your light. Let your light shine as we are the lights. Talking about those things, asking questions. And prayerfully, like Martin said, right? You're prayerfully just sharing Christ. You're prayerfully showing Christ to people. They'll be able to see slowly. And eventually you want to have the second thing, which is conversation. You want to be able to talk. I love soccer. So
You guys are pushing me.
I know.
Pushing me.
After 3 minutes of conversation, if I don't know where you stand between Ronaldo and Messi, I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
So we should at least be as passionate about the gospel.
Exactly. We should at least be as passionate, you know? And so as we're talking, we want to be able to start sharing. Let Christ shine. We got to be able to show them these areas of the gospel where Christ is shining in our lives. And as we're being intentional in asking them questions about what's going on in their lives and sharing what's going on in our lives, we want to be able to show how Christ is shining in our lives. And we're trying to really get them to taste and see if the Lord is good, like in Psalm 34:8. Are they tasting that?
One thing that is going to be very useful in college and university, where a lot of people is just open to debate, just to criticize and don't accept your posture because I think one thing and I will think all my life like this.
Right.
It's not just go with the gospel as a debate, but showing the gospel. Not just my words are the gospel, because the gospel is a message. Have to be using words, using the Bible, and look for the mind to clean all the intellectual obstacles to reach the heart. But something that is going to help us to reach the heart is going to be our testimony of love to them. Loving them when sometimes somebody else doesn't love us. But we can love them, and in that way they can see something different in us, that we don't want to just change their minds, but we want to really have an impact with Christ in their lives because we love them.
So let's continue this conversation because we're learning we don't have the answers, but what I'm hearing is we need to be deliberate. We need to be among the lost. Let's put ourselves out there. And we're already passionate about things. We're already talking about what we like.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't we talk about the gospel in everyday conversation? So let's continue the conversation.
Right. Thank you.